That's the simplest approach in the world, isn't it? Show happiness for the other people and then turn it around and say, welcome to the Matt Phillips Podcast. I am Matt Phillips, your sales leadership coach, mental toughness expert, and founder of Matt Phillips Coaching. We help sales managers and leaders make more money, save time, and become kick-ass leaders of their sales teams. And that's what we're here to talk about on this podcast. We are here to give you the tools and tactics to build a well-oiled sales machine and teach you the mental toughness skills so you can show up confident, focused, emotionally in control, and ready to energize your team. It's time to talk sales leadership and mental toughness. Let's get into today's episode. Well, welcome to today's podcast episode. It is Matt, and excited to dive into this critical topic today around comparison, right? Comparing ourselves to other people, comparing ourselves to other situations. And I don't know if you've experienced this like I have, but I think part of it is this is human nature, right? That when we see that, picture of that family going on vacation on Facebook, and then we take a moment, we pause, and then we start that comparison, right? It kicks in right at that moment. And I've had the thought come in my head of like, oh my gosh, I feel so terrible, right? I should have taken my family on a vacation, and what am I doing? And what's wrong with me that I'm not doing that with my family? And we all experience this in just different ways, right? In our personal lives, in our professional lives. And that's why I want to dive into this topic today, because it's so critical, right? Again, it's human nature, but how do we work through that? How do we have a different approach? And there's one tool I will give you at the end, which I know will help you kind of move past this. It's something that I utilize to this day. And it's something that I think you're going to be able to leverage going forward. Because as the saying goes, right? Comparison is the thief of joy. And you've heard that saying. I've heard that saying, and nothing could be more true, right? So, it happens everywhere, right? So I don't know if you're into LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But if you're anything like me, when you're scrolling through, if I scroll too long, I get off that, 30 minutes later, hour later, and I'm feeling pretty miserable, right? Because even, I'll see one of my friends who's also in the speaking business and coaching business, like they'll be doing some speech at some really exotic location, really cool. And I look at that and I'm like, man, I should be doing a speech at an exotic location. Like, why am I not, right? And then the questions and rhetoric and like not really helpful thoughts start to happen, right? And start to kind of shift down. And all of a sudden, that one picture that one of my friends posted, who I, trust and I want the best for them, all of a sudden now I'm less than because of viewing a picture. And this isn't a knock on social media by any means, right? I think we experience this like outside of social media as well. And when I look back and I used to see somebody get promoted at work, I'd start down this path of comparison. Why did they get promoted and not me? Or see somebody make a sale and you're like, why did they make that sale and not me? And we have to be so careful about how we look at comparison, how we actually compare ourselves, and then shift the perspective, shift the mindset into something that can help propel us forward and move past that. And that's what I want to share with you today. Now, before we get to that point, it was interesting as I was thinking about this podcast today, I kind of asked myself, like, when did I think that this comparison, I'll call it an issue, right, cropped into my world? Like, when did it start to show up? And the first place that I can really recall it showing up was actually high school. And high school is, well, for me, it was just kind of a weird time. And I don't know, you're maturing and growing and hormones are popping and all that sort of stuff. And, I had zits and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know, you're just trying to fit in at that point. At least I was. And just trying to find my way, find my personality and just my courage and confidence and all those sorts of things, right? As you grow up and enter that environment. And that's the first time that I remember showing that comparison and that really showing up in my life. And it was actually freshman year, I was trying out for football, and lo and behold, I was pretty intimidated by these guys because they were bigger, stronger, a lot of them faster than me. And all of a sudden I found myself comparing to them, right? Of like how big they were or how much they weighed or how hard they hit or how fast they ran or how they could catch a ball. And as I did that, I faded more and more into the background, right? Because all of a sudden I couldn't, almost stand on the field with them. Now, I still showed up, but definitely not my best self. And I don't know, I wonder when the kind of trigger, I don't know, first memory you have of comparison was for you. I don't remember that in grade school. I don't remember before that, because I think you're just, I don't know, going through life, having a good time. Maybe I was oblivious to the whole everything going on. I don't know, maybe, but I like the oblivion sometimes. But it's really interesting for me to think about. And then that carrying on, as we get into baseball and playing other, great teams, I find myself in this place of comparison, right? Now, I worked really, really hard on my skill set and all these things, right? I was always taking extra swings, always trying to prepare myself to be great, but that was always in the back of my mind. And so that was really my first kind of memory of when this came in. And, again, I'm blessed with great parents and family and all those sorts of things, and they help kind of work through that sort of stuff when they'd see it. But it was something that I really didn't understand until I got in, well into my career, and actually when I started this business. And I think one thing that I've found that to be true, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think comparison, I don't think it ever goes away. I really don't. I think we have to learn to address it in a very positive, proactive way so that we can show up our best selves. But it's going to be all around us, right? Every day something is happening where we have that opportunity, I guess, to cross over into comparison. Because again, it's natural. It's something that we do, right? And so when I see that, trip to Hawaii that my friend booked and a family, and I start going on this path of feeling bad about myself, listen, people are going on vacation, right? So especially if you're looking at social media, or even if I'm at the office doing my water cooler talk, right? Which, it's kind of funny to say now with, post COVID and stuff. I don't even know if they have water coolers in offices anymore. At least I don't see them very much, but you're sitting around chit chatting with people. They're going to talk about their vacation. And so we have this natural tendency to think about our lives and ask the questions like, should we go on vacation? Should we do this? Should we do that? Is our family good? Are we bad? All these sorts of things are just human nature, right? If somebody gets promoted at work, we have this opportunity to go down that path again and look at that, because we want to be promoted, right? When people are crushing sales, we want to crush sales. So we start to compare ourselves to that other person of what they're doing and how they're doing it, what type of leader we are at work. Point being, I could go on and on, but it's all around us in personal and professional lives. I mean, I go into the, gym sometimes and you see, that guy for me that's super ripped, right? Where you see those videos of the guys doing these amazing pull-ups and stuff. And I'm like, man, I can't, well, I don't know. I'm not so ripped anymore, I guess. I need to do a little work, but was back in the day. But you look at that and you're like, man, those guys are ripped. Or my goodness, they can do pull-ups, right? And females out there, I'm sure you do that same thing with other people in your gym classes, things like that. The way we show up as mothers, as fathers, as uncles and aunts. I mean, every area of life is impacted by this. And this to me has been one thing I have constantly worked on and still work on to this day. I remember when I started, this is probably 4 or 5 years into my business. Now I've gone on over 11 and a half. And, I've had mentors along the way and just great people come across my path. And what was really interesting is these people, all my mentors wanted to help extensively. They would do anything to help me be successful, giving me perspective, advice, even leads in certain cases. And it was amazing. And yet what was really kind of funny was that I would see this one gentleman in particular would post things on social media. I'd see him and man, would I get jealous. I would get jealous to the point of it was the weirdest thing in the world. It's I almost didn't want to talk to him because I felt so jealous, because I was that comparison of why not me? Why am I not the one doing it? And it's so interesting. That's why I say this is a constant thing. It's never going to go away, right? But we can master the way that we look at comparison to help, again, move faster, quicker through that thing. And that's what I've had to learn to study over the years. And so for you, I wonder where you might be spending your time in comparison, right? And maybe it's something in your personal life, at the gym, or I don't know what you're eating, or nutrition wise, or it's something as a parent, or your marriage, or something like that. I don't know what it might be, your finances. Or maybe it's something at work where it's your sales or the type of leader that you are and how you show up, or it's when people get promoted or when decisions are made. I wonder where this is impacting your life. And again, I want to tell you right now, again, to repeat, that is normal, 100% normal. It's just, how do we choose to work through it and work on it? And that's what I want to talk to you today about, this one very simple thing that you can utilize and master and work on over and over and over again. And once you do, it's freeing, right? It gets you to a place of you taking control of the things that you can control and controlling the things that position you to be like uber successful. That's what I found through this method. And it's the simplest thing in the world, right? But there's really 2 steps to it. I wanted to take a quick break from the podcast to invite you to something very special that we're up to at Matt Phillips Coaching. It's what we call the High Performance Leadership Program. Now, we know that leading people can be challenging. It also can be extremely rewarding. And one thing that I found as you progress in leadership and want to take that next level, get that promotion, continue to move up the ladder, is you have to continually invest in yourself. And you have to set yourselves apart from other people. And you have to continue to not only grow as a leader, but you have to grow your mental toughness, your mindset, because that is the one true differentiator. That's exactly why we built the High Performance Leadership Program, to come alongside you on a monthly basis, to give you the tools, training, and resources, and coaching with me to help you elevate your performance. So I invite you to head over to mattphillipscoaching.com/membership and join us today in the High Performance Leadership Program. Let's make your dreams and your career and your business a reality. So first of all, step 1 is you show happiness for that person. So let's say that I, Matt Phillips, see one of my mentors or someone else out there on a stage speaking in front of thousands of people. What I do first is I say to myself, and sometimes I say it out loud, of like, oh my gosh, I am so happy for fill in the name, that they get that opportunity to do that. The way to combat comparison is to first choose excitement and show excitement for that person. You don't have to tell them, but it's all internal. It's all in your head of like, I'm so excited that they got to do that. Oh my gosh, how incredible. What an opportunity. Man, that would be incredible to do. I'm so happy for them. And then the second step to this very simple approach is to then ask yourself a question. So knowing that I'm super happy for them, what do I need to focus on right now so that I can show up my best? Isn't that quite simple? That's the simplest approach in the world, isn't it? Show happiness for the other people and then turn it around and say, what do I need to do right now in this moment? What action do I need to take right now in this moment to make sure I'm showing up my best? Again, you didn't hear me say to get that speech on that stage, to be able to go on that vacation. No, that's not what I said. What do I need to do right now to show up my best so I can be the best father, mother, business person, salesperson, like whatever, most in shape that I can be right now? What action can I take right now to make that happen? Right? We have to show up our best selves, not focus on others, but on ourselves. So it's a simple thing that I practice over and over and over again. And I still to this day, I will find people out there where I'm like, oh man, that would be incredible. And I find myself going into the trap of feeling worse about myself, feeling bad about myself, that I should be doing that, I'm just going to say it, like sometimes I felt in the past worthless because I'm not doing that thing. That's not truthful at all. And maybe you just need to hear this today, that you are amazing. You are special. You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are amazing. You were put on this earth to make an impact. In order to make that impact, we have to take the action that serves us so that when we look in the mirror, we're like, yes, I'm doing the things to maximize my gifts, my talents. And comparison takes that away. This simple thing of being happy for that person and then asking that question, what do I need to do right now to show up my best self? That's the game changer. That's where you're actually able to show up your best self. So there's often cases now where I'll see like a mentor or somebody like doing something really cool, and I will text them, where I will post on their social media like, oh man, that looks incredible. I'm so happy for you, because I want to show that to them. I want to get them fired up and excited about what they're doing. When I see that vacation that, to Hawaii that person went on, some friends of ours. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'll tell them like, that looks amazing. Tell me about that trip. I want them to share that excitement for me. And then I might take that away and I'll go talk to my wife and be like, hey, you know what? I had a reminder today. But I think we need to maybe book something with our family. It doesn't have to be to Hawaii. It doesn't have to be some exotic thing, but we need a little time away. Or how do we do something special? Because vacations are about connection with your family. You can do something a simple way, right? But I would show excitement for what they did first. It gets me in that right state of mind to take action. Right? When I look at that colleague and that colleague is promoted into a new role, and I might be jealous and I might be in like, why him or her? Why not me? Instead, I'll look at it and be like, wow, I'm so excited that they got that opportunity. And I'm not saying it's easy, by the way, but I'm saying I'm going to say that. I'm so excited they got that opportunity. Now, what do I need to do to position myself to get promoted, to grow, to develop, to become the leader that I want to be, to get that next opportunity? It's a small but significant shift that you can make around this comparison pandemic, epidemic, whatever the right word is, that I believe is crippling or can cripple all of us. Right? That's why, I love social media to death. I think it's a great way to reach people, to connect with people, to stay in front of people. It's great, but I have a love-hate relationship with it because I also have 3 kids, 2 of which are on social media. One will get her phone here in about a year and a half. My biggest concern with my children being on social media is the comparison factor. And so I'm trying to teach them how to look at it differently and approach it differently, have the same mindset. Again, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying we have to force it down this path, though. We have to address it this way if we want to achieve what we want to achieve. Otherwise, we're going to be staring at other people, like living their dreams through them instead of creating our dreams for ourselves and making our dreams happen. Right? I'd much rather have people look at our posts, and my posts, and be like, "Oh my gosh, like Matt's living his best life," and actually have it be true. Right? And I want people to be happy for me. I want to be happy for all of you listening. Let's go create these things that we want to take. That's what comparison can take away for us, and it can cripple us if we're not careful. So I hope you found this useful, right? Again, you have to practice it. You got to integrate into what you do. You can talk to your partner or spouse or whoever about this concept, right? Even coworkers, like, hey, how do we stay locked into our things, right? And be happy for others and focus on taking the action ourselves. And it's such an important thing. It opens up everything. There's a story I'll share with you and I'll leave you with today. And there's this gentleman named Mark Allen, and I may have talked about him on the podcast before, but I don't know, by show of hands, how many of you have heard of Mark Allen? Well, darn it, I can't see any hands up, so I'm guessing none of you. No, hopefully some of you have heard of him, but Mark Allen is a triathlete. He's an Ironman, and he now speaks all over the world and has his own triathlon training company. Great guy. And I had him on my podcast a couple of years ago because, listen to this. I mean, if this isn't a headline, I don't know what is. ESPN named Mark Allen the greatest endurance athlete of all time. I mean, how cool is that? Great. I want to be the greatest leadership coach of all time. Maybe ESPN will name me that. I need to go to work on that. But that aside, when I heard that, I'm like, oh my gosh. So how do my podcast? Mark is one of the most humble people, yet driven people at the same time. But he's the most humble guy. And Mark holds a couple records. One is he won 21 Ironmans in a row. Okay. He also holds a record for winning 4 of the big ones in Kona, Hawaii in a row. So we're on the podcast talking about just how to deal with adversity and all his successes and how to overcome things. And it's a great podcast. And at one point he's sharing with me how he went to the big one in Kona, Hawaii. And 4 years in a row, he lost. And he was considering not going back again because he said, for context, Matt, and again, his humility is unreal. He goes, for context, I don't say this to like make myself seem better than I am, but he says, I'm winning everything on the mainland and Hawaii and all over the world. I'm winning everything, but I go to Hawaii and I lost 4 years in a row. And he's like, I don't know if it's bad vibes on the island or something like that. But he said, so I was actually not going to go back for year 5. But I decided one more time, and then I rattled off four wins in a row to set the record. And I'm like, whoa, Mark. Mike, time out. You lost 4, won 4. I said, what happened in the middle? It had to have been something significant. He said, no, actually, it was one small mindset shift. He said those first 4 times going into Hawaii where I lost, I was worried about my competitors. I was constantly thinking about what they were doing, how they were training, what their strategy was going to be for the race. I was 100% focused on them. He said, going into that 5th one, I decided to focus on me. And I decided to train to the best of my ability, right? To give 100% of what I have in each as I trained. And when I showed up to the race, I was going to swim my best swim, bike my best bike, and run my best run. And we'll see what happens. So that one mindset shift helped me set a record of 4 Ironmans in Hawaii in a row. And I say that to you because Mark, in that instance, in those first 4, was comparing himself, his strategy, his training, everything to those other people. When he made that one small mindset shift, not even necessarily to be happy about them, but to focus on what he could control, on how he showed up his best self, what actions he was going to take to position himself to be successful, he set a record. And I wonder for you, if you focused on those activities, take that tip, that trick that I taught you today and implement it, what that could mean for you. I know you can do great things. I know the sky's the limit. And if we take this one concept we discussed today, it can be an absolute game changer for you. Be like Mark, be your best self, take the actions necessary along the way. Thank you, as always, for spending time with me on today's podcast. Please tell your friends about this. This is this topic that everyone struggles with. So please share this with those around you so that they can take action upon it as well. And I can't wait to see you next time on the Matt Phillips Podcast. Have a fabulous rest of your day. Thank you for joining us today on the Matt Phillips Podcast. If you are like us, we know that you are here to do great things, to become the sales leader that makes things happen and drives big time sales results. We know you have that big vision, and we are here to help get you where you want to go. We're here to help you develop that unstoppable, rock solid leadership skill set and help you train to master the one true differentiator, mental toughness. We would love to be part of your journey. So if you are ready, head over to mattphillipscoaching.com and check out the ways that we can help. As always, please share this episode and make sure you subscribe by clicking the button below. Thank you again. And now, go crush the day.